We set this up. I already knew a bit about Jamie Dornan's eating habits because we've eaten together before. He bought me at a charity auction for the Old Vic Theatre, paid real money for me, and I went out for dinner on one of my reviews with him and his lovely other half. He loves beef, and I decided the only place to bring him to was a brilliant Mayfair institution called the Guinea Grill. It's basically a pub, but it's been famed for the things they do with beef for many, many years, and it is a perfect fit for Jamie Dornan. He's going to love it. So let's get inside and see what's going on. Jamie.
Hello mate, how you doing?
Very good. Good to see you.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you for joining me in the boardroom.
I'm delighted. This is lovely.
Marvellous. Did you stay up in town last night?
No, I didn't actually. I came from Gloucestershire this morning. We had our third baby since I last saw you.
I know. How long ago was that?
I can't be away from home too much.
Can I say I'm impressed by the personal sacrifice you've made to come here.
Well, you start going through the diary when you have the baby, and you're like, when can I start sort of actively doing things again? You know, and I was going to start a job. And I'd said to my agent, like, I'm not working until baby came, you know, middle of February. I said, like, I can't work until April, right? And I thought that's fair, and my wife and I talked about that. It seemed like a good enough sort of...
Because after the first one, weren't you away in 2 days?
Yeah, 3 days. I started working 3 days after the first one was born, and about 2 weeks after the second was born. So I thought, right, this is probably the last one we're going to have. Let's get this right. So I said, I'm not going to work till April. And then, of course, my agent's like, you'll start on the 1st of April. And I was like, wow, okay. Literal, like, I won't work till April. And I actually said no in the end. And actually, thank God, because I don't feel like I'm ready to, you know, nipping up to London to do this with you is fine. But, like, you know, to go and commit to a job, it's going to be in New York for like 6 weeks. And she's still so tiny, you know.
Does she have a name, or are you keeping that under wraps for now? Yeah, all right, fair enough. Well, you've always been quite cool at keeping your children's names
it's funny,
quiet.
We just sort of don't... There's a few ways to go about that. You know, you can either announce it to the world. I've got some of my best friends do that who are, you know, well-known or whatever. They make the announcement. I mean, they literally put it in the fucking Times or whatever and put it out there. And we sort of haven't, with all three, haven't announced anything. We've just sort of let people find out for themselves, and I don't mind that information sort of dripping out, you know, as and when it feels right to, you know. Does anyone care?
All the things they care about.
No, but do you know what I mean? It's such a personal thing to have happen, and it, you know, it all just feels so new, and we're just like having this time to fall in love with the baby. You know?
Well, let's talk about, you know, the really serious things. We're in this boardroom. It actually says boardroom on the door, surrounded by pictures of grandees. Is Oscar Wilde up there?
There he is, yeah.
Oh, he is? You're absolutely right.
Jane Austen,
you know,
of Wellington.
I'm quite impressed you're actually recognising them. To me, they look like old dudes in wigs. But now, obviously, my job is to choose where I bring people to eat.
Yes.
And when I knew that you were up for this, I did go back. The first email exchange we had, so I suppose I ought to explain, you bought me.
I did.
You bought me at an auction for the Old Vic.
For a night, yeah.
Well, I had a lovely time, I hope.
Yeah,
well, you're here. You haven't gone, Christ, I'm not hanging out with him ever again. And you did say, I'm going to throw this in, hi Jay. Very excited by this, thank you. That's good for me. My wife and I love food, full stop.
Yeah.
All food, full stop. Eat everything, full stop. Drink anything, full stop. I probably got a problem regarding beef.
Oh, God, yeah. Well,
I would eat it for every meal if I could.
Did I say that? Yeah. Yeah, I'll stick to that. It's true, I do. And actually, so much so that we're trying to have, like, you know, like beef-free days.
Yeah,
you know,
this
like,
isn't going to be one of them.
No, and I'm quite happy with that. And
so what we could do, if you wanted to, is we could go downstairs and examine the choice.
Well, I had a quick stop on the way past. I couldn't help myself walk past the, you know, the display.
Or they can bring a board up, or if you've already looked at the display.
I've already looked, but I like the idea of a board.
Okay, can we do a board? All right,
Thank
brilliant.
you.
There's obviously a wine list.
Yes.
And I know that you have quite an interest in French reds.
Yes, but I'm kind of one of those people who just enjoys any type of good wine, really.
You slut.
Good. I'm a bit of a slut when it comes to that. I mean, I kind of drink anything. Thanks a million.
So I found my way to the Pinot Noirs.
Oh, look, perfect, yeah. Good. See, I don't mind that. A sort of lighter red with a big hunk of meat.
There's a Bourgogne, a Burgundy, Pinot Noir.
Delicious.
The Henri de Villemont? Yeah. Perfect. Coke with lemon.
one of the cardinal sins. I've just no understanding of why. Listen, I don't have a massive issue with a slice of lemon in your Coke.
Okay.
I just wish they would ask you,
All
because
right.
it monumentally changes the taste of your Coke. It really does, you know. And in America they don't do it, but I think anything else that is going to alter the flavour of what you're about to consume, you'd be asked, like, I'm going to add something to this, it's going to change the taste. Do you want that before I go ahead and do it? But I just think it's a given here.
So
that
is
they
it
just put it in there.
inadvertent, unexpected outbreaks of lemon?
It's just, I just don't. It got to a point where I got so fed up of finding a bit of cutlery, dishing out the lemon and putting it on a side plate because it changed the taste of my Coca-Cola, that I've now started, and it annoys me having to do this, but I've now started having to say, can I have a Coca-Cola? Just could have no lemon.
Would you like a Coke with no lemon? Would you like sparkling water?
No, I'll just have tap water, please.
Your friends have arrived, Jamie.
Oh, look at this.
So this is the
Jesus.
border beef. Vladimir, do you want to explain?
Is that a tomahawk?
So this one we know mostly here, dry Scottish and English grass-fed beef.
Okay.
We actually source the beef from. We have about 5 farms in North Yorkshire and 4 in Scotland. So all is dry age, all grass-fed. So the dry steaks, the more marbling, more bone in the steaks, the more flavour. So that's my absolute favourite.
Is that the Côte de Boeuf?
Like cut the beef, or if you think it's too big for you, ribeye is perfect.
Yeah.
This is good to share.
Not the
those
sharing
days.
type, to be honest.
What, you want your own Côte de Boeuf for the Queen?
Well, I'm not saying I could take that on, but I will share
Unless
it
you
with
would like your own sirloin steak on your... Is that what you think would be
No,
better?
no, I think we should. I was going to do the ribeye. I was going to do the ribeye.
Oh, well, should we do the ribeye?
Yeah.
Do a ribeye,
Yeah.
and I'll do a sirloin.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll get
Fine.
2 of them. Does that make you happy?
That makes me really happy.
That puts you in your really happy
Yeah,
place.
it does,
Okay.
yeah. I feel sorry for those wee lamb chops, because they're just never. If they're presented alongside those other fellas, they're never going to get ordered. Do you know what I mean?
Actually, they are.
Oh, really?
People get one lamb chop on the side.
Oh, as a side.
No,
Jesus,
you
that's-
know, they buy a nice lamb chop just to
Wow.
flavor there, you know.
Wow.
Do you have a sudden insight into what it must be like to be at an audition? All those actors that are the lamb chops that are never, ever going to get the part.
And that was my life for 10 years.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
So one of these is, Eddie Redmayne. One of them is Jamie Dornan. One of them's...
Oh, God. Don't bring Eddie into this.
Do you want a lamb chop
No,
on
I
the
feel
side?
like I want the lamb chop on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course we will.
Yeah, thank
I was
you.
about to bring it anyway, so it's fine.
Okay, great. Oh, I love it.
What do you want to go with it?
Mash, if you have it. Do you have mashed potatoes?
Yeah.
There we go. I'll have some of that. And some purple broccoli with chili and anchovy. That sounds incredible.
Going to have to get the chips.
Of course.
Do you want a starter?
Probably.
Please say yes.
Yeah, I do. I want the pot of duck
Yeah.
and toast, yeah.
That's,
okay.
that's a
Like-
good choice.
Roulettes kind of thing,
And
yeah.
I'll have the deviled kidneys
Okay.
and a lie down afterwards. And can I have a green salad to go alongside my sauces?
Peppercorn, please.
I know, 1 peppercorn, 1 burner.
Of course.
Perfect.
Are you happy?
I'm happy.
But clearly food and drink.
Yes.
It's not just a passing matter with you, is it?
No, it means a lot to me. Food and drink. I have to say, I've always, enjoyed really good food, but I'm not precious about it, and I'll eat rubbish as well quite happily. And I get as much satisfaction from a packet of flame grilled steak McCoys.
Okay.
Like, I really
you go for
would.
the flame grilled steak.
Well, I do anything. Beef. Anything beefy. I'm just like beef hula hoops. Jesus, don't get me started.
Oh, beef. I mean, they are the hula hoop.
They
aren't
are. Oh, they're just unbelievable. So I would get as much satisfaction from both. I'm not particularly picky, although I have a great appreciation of great food.
Is it the case that you really are blessed with a metabolism that means you can eat and drink whatever you like, you bastard?
I do have a high metabolism, definitely, and I'm aware of that, and
Or let me ask you
I
another
play
question.
to that a little bit. I do, and I will. But listen, it's not like I do. I go through phases, particularly more recent since I became a dad, really, of exercising a lot, which I.
So you have a gym habit or a running habit? Or
I do. I used to
Thank
play a lot
God.
of sport growing up. I was very sporty. Always thought I would work in sport. Didn't end up that way. And then in my 20s, I sort of lost that a bit. I'd still be playing a bit of rugby when I was in my early 20s. I'd moved to London. But then that fizzled out. And then, I'd play a bit of football and go running a bit, but not really until then I had kids. And then I've got into a real sort of routine of keeping fit, because mainly for health reasons rather than purely, like, like aesthetic reasons. By the way, like being on the trampoline for like an hour and a half session every other day.
What, with the girls?
It's exhausting, yeah. Yeah, by the way, I did go out on the trampoline by myself about a few years ago. I found myself just wandering out the garden, and I looked around, my wife was just watching me, and I just got on the trampoline. I was on there for 20 minutes without the kids. I loved it. It was great fun. And I do genuinely enjoy it. I don't run so much anymore. I've not a great left knee, and I've been encouraged by a doctor back in Belfast that I saw to cycle a lot. I go to the gym about 4 times a week. I'll do the bike every time, and I have no issues with my knee anymore. It literally fixed it.
So do you go to a normal public gym?
I do, yeah. I go to
get left
a gym
alone
in Stroud, yeah, in Gloucestershire where I live, yeah. Yeah, I know, it's very friendly gym where all the staff are very chatty and friendly, and you just feel part of the family very quickly. Yeah. If I had a gym at my house, I wouldn't use it.
Have you ever literally dropped to the floor and done press-ups between shots?
Oh, yeah. Jesus, yeah.
What was brilliant is you gave me a look there as I was someone. Of course, everybody does that.
I've done that for various reasons. I've done that for reasons of I'm about to have my top off, and it's going to be everything they film is committed to celluloid forever. And why not try to look as good as I can in that moment? I've also done it when sometimes if I'm meant to be particularly spent and exhausted after a scene where I'm running in the fall or whatever, I'll do it.
You need to run.
So I'll do something, yeah, sometimes that. And sometimes I do it because sometimes I've just a lot of energy and I don't know what to do with it. And they're fucking hanging around going, oh yeah, hold on, we're just going to fix this light. Sorry, Jimmy. I'm like, fuck, yeah, I'm good to go here. I'm like, I'm chomping at the bit to get rid of some of this energy. So I'll drop and just do press-ups just for something to do and to tire myself a little. So I do that. I actually have always... I just enjoy press-ups. I think it's quite a cool thing that you're able to...
How many can you do in a row?
Oh, not that many. 100?
Not that many.
I don't know what's a lot. I don't know.
Should we have a press-up off just now?
I don't think on a podcast that works out. Actually,
I don't know. You'd hear it. You'd hear it. It'd be good.
Quite funny. Thank you very much.
Tell me what you think of that.
It smells delicious. And it is delicious. Wow, it really is. Yeah, great. I've got to get good about not my one of my best friends. A very early name drop here is Rafe Spall, the actor, and he's can be a bit of a nightmare to be out with for dinner, and we're out a lot for dinner because when he tastes the wine, they're really just asking you is it corked. They're not really asking you do you like it, and I'm always oh yeah, that's delicious, thank you so much. Love that.
Does he do a full number?
He just will just taste and go, it's fine.
You see, I do that.
Yeah, see, I just don't. I would feel that I'm being rude or something if I do that, so I don't. I get all too,
I work on the basis everybody assumes I am rude anyway, so that there's no way back from this. Our starters have arrived.
Lovely, thank you.
So you've got the potted duck.
Yeah, there's no pot though.
I think it's come out of the pot.
Took the pot away.
And I've got the deviled kidneys.
I've never had deviled kidneys.
Have you not?
When I said in our early email exchange I eat anything, I do anything sort of deviled or
what, too fiery?
Kidneys. I do struggle with that a little.
So
bit.
You don't want me to push this across the table?
We're probably not going to share that.
All right, fine. Do you cook at home?
Big time, yeah. I love it. My wife is an astonishing cook, like really genuinely brilliant. Like I make a very good puttanesca. We do a roast every Sunday. We're really sort of religious about that, and I'm very particular about my roast potatoes.
I think this is the right environment for you to share the details of that.
Well, I've stolen a little bit from different people about the best, way to go about it.
Which potatoes? Do you have a particular?
Mars Piper.
Okay, fair choice.
I'll go Mars Piper, and I will parboil them longer than you probably should. Like really bubbling water, probably for 8 to 10 minutes, where some people...
They're starting to crack apart.
They're starting to crack apart. My thing with them is that I'll make enough that you're willing to sacrifice a few men for. There's a few that are going to just fall away and not make the whole journey.
Make the cut.
But they'll become little crunchy, delicious little specks at the bottom, and they'll be amazing. So I boil them to the point that they really can't take any more. I mean, they're hanging on. You do goose fat.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. What's the fat?
I'll do goose fat. Sometimes I'll do a mix of goose fat and coconut oil. I know, here we go. It's getting a bit controversial.
Hang on a sec. I mean, controversial doesn't really cover it. Coconut oil.
Not a lot of it.
What does coconut oil bring to the party?
Slight flavouring of coconut.
Are you serious?
a tiny wee hint of it.
Okay.
But, like, not enough. I'm very sure. I hate coconut. I would never eat coconut. I don't like coconut, that fucking coconut water that, like, models drink. Hate that stuff. But, weirdly, coconut oil, I don't mind because I find it very subtle.
But if you're not necessarily the biggest fan of... I think finally we've got to the really important stuff here. If you're not necessarily the biggest fan of coconut, what happened that first day you went, I think I'm going to put some coconut oil?
I found it in the cupboard.
Was your other half getting into coconut?
No, well, she quite likes it and will use it. And there's also that weird thing you do with coconut oil for your teeth. Have you ever done it? You get coconut oil, right, a big spoonful of it, and you splosh it around with your mouth closed for a good, 15-20 minutes.
That sounds like a good day out.
It's quite a good way to shut yourself up if, you're pissing someone off. And you spit it out after, and your teeth are, ridiculously clean. Scared, white, like a fucking advert. It's crazy. And your mouth smells a bit of coconut. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's good for you, bad for you. I haven't looked that up.
So on the one hand, I'm, for the microphones, I'm obviously pulling an appalling face and being outraged.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm thinking maybe as a man in my 50s, I should go home and try this.
Well, listen, I think the coconut oil thing happened once, so we didn't have any goose fat. We'd run out of, olive oil. And there was only thing.
What a calamity!
I thought
a household in the Cotswolds running out of olive oil.
The pantry was empty.
It's unthinkable.
But it was just like, well, it's oil. It's going to do the same kind of thing. So I don't. When I say a bit, I use a very small bit of coconut oil. Yeah, cheers, by the way.
Cheers, and thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
Let me take you back to Northern Ireland. Growing up in Hollywood. Pretty sort of well-to-do background. Your dad,
very much
doctor, consultant, obs and gynae.
Yeah.
What was the plan? What did you think you were going to do? Well, you said sport, was it?
Yeah, it's funny. I always have this thing where I want to do something like what we're doing here with my dad, and I want to ask him. He's a very interesting person, my dad. He's got a fascinating mind that never stops, and I've sort of wanted to interview him for a long time, and I plan to do that this year, actually, because I want to ask him what he thinks I was going to do. Because in my head, I don't know, arrogance is the trait I deplore most in people, but I guess there's a sense of this in what I'm about to say for myself, in that I always felt that I was going to land on my feet.
It was all going to be fine.
For whatever reason, yeah. And maybe has that something to do with coming from a middle-class background where often there is a bit of a landing mat underneath. If the shit hit the fan, Dad could probably bail me out, and maybe that's a nice comfort. Has he ever had to bail me out? No, thank God. I had a decent enough sense that I had something to offer, not sure what it was to offer.
And the original thought was sport.
Yeah, well, I played a lot of sport, played a lot of rugby, and I love spend my life defending golf, but I'm a big golfer.
You spend your life defending golf?
Because a lot of people, you mention golf, and they're like, Jesus Christ, why would you like golf?
Well, Oscar Wilde, who's up there, didn't he call it a good walk ruined?
A good walk spoiled, yeah. In fact, I would say, but looking at that wall, there's a lot of golfers up there, I would say, but it's got this this tag of being sort of elitist. Where I come from, it's not so much, it's quite accessible for lots of people, and you can be from any sort of background and be able to give it a go.
Didn't you tell me that all of you well-known people from Northern Ireland just play golf together across the links? You, Paddy Kilty.
I've played golf with, all those Paddy, Jimmy Nesbitt. I've never played golf with Liam Neeson. Don't think he plays golf.
Do you think Liam doesn't?
I don't think he does. No, I really don't think he does. I know him a little, and I've never talked about golf with him, so I don't think he does.
So you moved to London age 20 to model? How would that happen? Did you get spotted by someone?
I had a summer. I dropped out of university and I was doing a marketing degree and no interest in any aspect of marketing, anything. I thought, well, fuck this, I'm going to leave. I remember just having this idea that I just wanted to change. I knew I wasn't on the right path, I needed to do something else. And I guess I was doing an interview once and I explained what I got up to that summer. And the interviewer just went, so you're depressed? And I was like, Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, what? Yeah, like, I'd never sort of seen it that way, but I must have been depressed. And I spent this whole summer...
I mean, your mother died when you were 16, so there was a lot of grief that you may not...
Yeah, my mother...
The Northern Irish way is not necessarily to rent your clothes and wail and...
No, I mean, I guess, I don't know, I mean, that was obviously life-altering, insane, horrendous thing to happen. And then I had 4 of my mates killed in a car crash when I was 17. So I had a very rough couple of years that I guess... Oh, Jesus, I'm still dealing with both of those things today, every day. But I guess they were very sort of acute still then. And I drank a lot of everything, really. But I just had the summer where I'd go out a lot, drink, not really achieve anything. I spent a whole day once de-stringing a tennis racket. And my dad came back from work and said, "What have you done today?" And I said, and I was actually quite proud of myself. I actually took all the strings from this racket, Dad. And I just remember he took me into this room that we don't use very often. And
did he give you the talk?
Yeah, he just said he said I was wasting my life and what was I doing and did I have any goals? And so at that point, my whole family started sort of scrabbling around, going, "How can we help Jamie?" Which like the families do, I guess. And my sister had seen this ad for this thing called Model Behaviour, which was like I guess a really early reality TV show where modelling, like who the fuck grows up wanting to be a model? Like definitely not me. Anyway, it was just something to do. Honestly, it was something to do. Got me out of the house. I convinced one of my mates to come with me. You know, he was a pretty handsome dude or whatever, so I was like, "Fuck, you're coming with me." He tried to call it off on the morning. He was like, "No, I'm not going. Oh, fuck. I said, please go. I'm picking you up. I'm 10 minutes from your house. I'll pick you up. Come with me." And I convinced him to come. And in a way, I guess it changed my life that day, that morning. Like, if I hadn't been able to convince him to go, I wasn't going. And I say that to him, you know, occasionally. I'm like, you know, you really did. Like, if I hadn't
still
been
a friend.
able to, yeah. If I hadn't been able to talk you around, you know, I did okay in the show. Didn't really. The whole thing was you then moved to London. Went to London with it, and I just sort of bullshitted my way into it. Like, kept calling the agency saying, "Are you allowed to represent me yet?" Like, and then. Luckily, they just caved in, and they did.
I think the thing that people don't necessarily realise is that you were actually... Obviously, male models are generally less well known than female models. Mm-hmm. It's one of those weird turnarounds in the gender divide.
Get paid much less.
But you were very successful. You had a Calvin Klein campaign. Right. You were on the side of buses.
7 years I'd contracted to Calvin Klein in one way or another. Very lucky. Total fluke.
Is it a total fluke? I mean, you know, trying to get you to say, "No, it's all right, I'm gorgeous." Or do you just photograph weirdly well?
Yeah, because you're looking at me in the cold light today. I'm not a handsome dude. No, I guess the thing is, like...
Darling.
Are there more handsome guys? Fuck, of course there are. Are there guys who are probably better at modelling, whatever the fuck that means? Yes. But I've always felt that I'm quite good with people, and I get on well with people, and I like people. So I think in the work environments that I've had with those clients, you know, we've done a job and the photographs have come out well, whatever. If I've got on well with them, they want to work with you again. Thank you so much. It's delicious. Thank you.
Describe the transition then from being a model to deciding you went to drama school.
I didn't.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, I thought you had.
I'm delighted I didn't. No.
Hang on. I'm just going to go through my notes.
That out. Fire someone for that.
So how did you transition? That's news. How did Jamie Dornan transition from being a model to being an actor?
Just moved more and talked.
Do you think that's what it is? You're not the first person to have done that.
No, listen, but I'd acted at school.
What parts did you play at school?
I won the drama prize playing Widow Twankey in our sort of pantomime Aladdin.
You were the dame?
I was a dame. We had a cleaning lady at the time called Nellie, who, God rest her soul, died there 6 years ago. And Nellie, very like hardcore broad Belfast, and amazing woman, kindest, most generous woman. I based my whole Widow Twankey on her, which I don't think I ever told Nellie that was the case. But yeah,
did she come? Did she come and see it?
No, I don't think she did. It would have been a bit too sort of close, the whole thing. But yeah, I guess...
So your entire career in film on the international stage, Jamie Dornan, is based on a drag act?
Well...
I'm running with it.
It certainly gave me a window into...
What was it you liked
escapism.
about it?
Well, you could just... you're forever trying to tell people that often actors have quite low self-esteem and maybe aren't that comfortable in their own skin, and that's what they like about doing this for a living. They get to embody someone else and the escapism of it, and I think I adhere to that. I feel, that it's times that it's joyous to be able to express something else that's within you that isn't usually sort of allowed out. Yeah, I guess that was it. And it's kind of... Yeah.
What was the first role?
I did... I was so lucky again. Fuck. My first ever audition. I'd literally had an agent for 48 hours. And my agent was like, Sofia Coppola is making Marie Antoinette. And, Sofia literally just won the Oscar for Lost in Translation. They are meeting a guy for this role who plays her love interest, Count Axel von Fersen. You won't meet with casting director in London. I was like, literally first ever audition. So I went down, read for it, casting director Karen Lindsay Stewart here in Soho. Thought it went okay, but I had no idea how to gauge it because I'd just never done it before. I thought it went okay, but not particularly well. Anyway, next thing, 2 days later, I was on a train to Paris and to meet Sofia, or to meet a casting director there, read for it again in Paris, with a casting director called Antoinette, which I thought was quite fortuitous. And then met Sofia and Ross Katz, the producer, that night in the Ritz, and had a few cocktails. And
did you go to the Hemingway bar at the back?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we could talk about that in a minute.
It was incredible. And that was it. And that within 48 hours of my first audition, I was working with this Oscar-winning director. It was insane. Tom Hardy did one day on it, shared my trailer. I was like, who the fuck's this guy coming in wanting a piece of my trailer? And it turns out he becomes like the biggest movie star in the world. It was a very mixed bag. It was very fun. There was a lot of improv and I just guess I thought...
And they knew that you had no real experience on camera?
I think they kind of wanted that. I think that was kind of the idea for that part. And I guess modelling did give you... It made you comfortable in front of a camera, whether it's moving or not. You become comfortable with something black with a lens on it right there. That was my first job, and I thought, fuck, it's all going to be like this. You work with Oscar-winning directors.
And was it?
No. Barely worked for 10 years after.
Well, hang on, I think the main event is about to walk into the room.
I'm very excited.
There are men with plates. There is men with steak and lamb chops.
Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Jeez, look at that.
That's my sirloin. Oh, that's my lamb chop. Uninvited onto the plate, but we'll welcome it.
Are you getting fed down there too?
Yeah, so the production team,
wow.
Darby and John, are receiving...
You've got the quietest food types possible. Potato makes no sound.
Yeah, exactly.
The tactical move half right.
Have you ever seen one of these before, Jamie? It's a green salad.
I do like a green salad. It needs to be like drowning in, dressing, but I do like it.
Things are piling up here.
There's suddenly a lot of people in this room.
There's a lot of people in this room. Well, it's a serious business, and we take it seriously.
Thank you. What was the point in the menu? This is great, thank you. Can I have a chip?
Have many a chip.
I'm going to dip my chip into the mash. Is that allowed?
You can do what the hell you like. You're chipping... Vladimir, I think we're fine.
Please enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How's yours over there?
Absolutely delicious, Jay.
Do you look back on that period with a kind of bafflement? Because you strike me now as a very controlled, very organised man.
But don't we all look back on different decades in our life of bafflement and like your 20s? Like, I mean, it wasn't that long. I'm like 36, but like in my 20s, what did I get up to? Now that I've got 3 kids, like everything has changed from when I turned 30. I met my wife at 27. We got married at 30 and had our first kid 31. And at that exact same point, my career took off.
That's when the fall happened.
That's when the fall happened.
Describe for someone who hasn't seen it. What was your part?
I play a bereavement counsellor. We can see from the surface, good at his job, family man, got 2 young kids. But he's also sort of hunting down and murdering, innocent brunette women, professional women. It was a part that I'd never been considered for anything like that in my life. I'd never done a job for the BBC before, even a small part, let alone a lead in something that was so sort of ambitious and sort of highbrow and yeah, I mean, I can't say it any other way. It literally changed my life. Suddenly I was in this, and not only that, just to be cast in that, but it was a massive success, and it was BBC Two's biggest drama for a decade, and we got critically incredible acclaim. I got nominated for BAFTA. All this stuff happens, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ! And then on set, it's a laugh. You know, as much as dark as the material is, I'm getting to work. I'd always wanted, I hadn't done it yet, to work at home. And also I'd wanted to do a job at home that wasn't directly involving the Troubles, which was hard to come by. And now at home, the industry's huge. Game of Thrones has changed the fall a little bit too, but Game of Thrones has changed everything. Get these amazing crew who are used to working in the 90s. They're working on yogurt commercials, and now they're working on the biggest show on the fucking planet. It's incredible.
I have to do a quick segue here. Is it true you went to the Game of Thrones wrap party never having seen an episode?
Yeah, that is true. What I loved about that is I'm not on any social media, so I don't hear this, but I got sent some stuff about people thinking I must be in the final series because I was at the wrap party.
So you hadn't seen any of Game of Thrones? No. Which series were they having the wrap party from?
This was the wrap party. This was Game of Thrones never exist again. Yeah, the final wrap party.
How did the invitation come your way?
Every single member crew in the fall works on Game of Thrones.
Simple as that.
They always try to do it. They're not shooting when we did 3 years of the fall, that they weren't shooting at the same time. Every single fucking person in the fall is wearing Game of Thrones jacket. I feel like I'm in Game of Thrones because I'm surrounded by their attire all the time, their fleeces and their hoodies and all this stuff that the crew wear. Also, Dermy, who's a very dear friend of mine, who's also my driver for all of the fall, and any time I work at home, he drives like Peter Dinklage when they do the Game of Thrones, and you know, Kit Harington sometimes, whatever. He's been on it from the start. So I'm around these people who are just massive part of the Game of Thrones family all the time. I also met Dan and Dave, who created the show way back when, before the show started, to see if I should be in it. I had this great meeting, didn't read or anything, but chatted for, you know, an hour with them. Got on really well with them, and then sort of didn't really get any feedback, and then seeked feedback. And they said, no, they really liked you. They just thought you were a bit too young for the old parts and a bit too old for the young parts. I was like, oh, fair enough, right, okay, fair enough. And there was no scripts or anything at this stage. And then the show came out, and it's a load of guys just look exactly like me. And I was like, all right.
So are you admitting at this point a slight resentfulness that given every single British actor I've ever heard of was in?
No, I mean, it is insane. They just didn't like me, obviously. But then I met them again a few years later, and then I bumped into them a couple of times when I was flying back and forth and on airplanes, whatever. And why I ended up at the rap party was I was filming there that summer, and the Game of Thrones rap party was in the centre of Belfast, and every single person I was filming with was going. So a few different people said, do you want to come? And everyone's going, oh, you won't be able to get a ticket, And I was like, oh, fuck, well, listen, I'm too embarrassed to go. But if you're ever going to sneak in the rap party, it's a Game of Thrones rap party.
How many people were there?
2,500, I think. No joke. Like,
where did they hold it? In central Belfast?
At the Odyssey, which is our big concert hall.
Right.
No, it's at the waterfront, which is a big concert hall in central Belfast. And then on the day of the actual thing, I was with Dermy, my driver there, and my mate, and we were at his, like, you know, office or whatever in the Game of Thrones lot. Dan, who's one of the creators of Game of Thrones, drove by in his car, stopped and went, hey Jamie, are you coming tonight? And I was like, oh, listen, I have to go now. So that was it, ended up going. And yeah, there's fucking like paparazzi there and everything, and then suddenly there's all this stuff that I was in Game of Thrones. But listen, I would have loved it on Game of Thrones. They wanted me.
Out to lunch, listeners, I've got some news. We've partnered up with Beer 52 to give you a free case of craft beers. Just go to beer52.com/lunch to claim your free case. It's the perfect chance to get some extra special beers in. Beer 52 is the world's most popular monthly craft beer discovery club. They search out exclusive small batch craft beers from the world's greatest brewers and bring them back for you. And Club Beer 52 has broken new ground this month with a box of the UK's first beers from America's hottest up-and-coming beer state, Maine, which is home to more than 120 breweries and produces hundreds of beers. And Beer 52 is delighted to have some of them to introduce to you. You can discover Geary's classic British-styled ales or the rich afterglow from Foundation Mason Brewing Company. There's something for everyone. Like darker beers, get yourself the mixed case. Like lighter beers, get the light case. It's very easy. Try your first case for free. Just pay £5.95 postage. That's 8 incredible craft beers, Ferment magazine, and a snack delivered with next day's shipping. It's a no-brainer. Past themes have included California, Norway, Belgium, and Amsterdam. There's no minimum commitment. You can just take the free case, try the beers, see what you think. If it's not for you, you can pause or cancel any time. Just visit www.beer52.com/lunch and claim your free case today. That's www.beer52.com/lunch. Beer 52, it's your weekend sorted in a box. Discuss the Fall. There's one other role, well, there's 2 other roles I want to talk about, and you know which one's coming. And you've been very clear when talking about 50 Shades of Grey that it was, you know, it was what it was.
Yeah.
A great role. When that one came to you, did you hesitate?
Yeah.
How long for?
It's very odd, Jay, to be honest, because you are presented with this incredible opportunity that is going to, you know, have a big impact in your life and change many things. To be honest, mostly, you know, financially, but again, you know, a career opens so many doors and blah blah. But you sort of know that it's going to get panned. Very strange thing. You're trying to do the best you can and make the best of it. But we knew that because the books were sort of adored by many, bought by many, but panned by many, probably going to be the same thing for the movies. You know what I mean? It's not like suddenly everyone who thought the book was badly written is going to go, oh, but the film
is a masterpiece.
That was never going to happen, you know. They're a great joy to be a part of, you know, and crazy kind of journey to go on. But also, above everything else, they are just a job, and it's just a film set, and it's no different than any other film set. You're just simulating more sex than you are in other films, but you're still just going to work in the morning and having like a family environment like you do in any other film set, you know.
With Dakota, had you worked with her before?
No, never met her before. No. No, it was one of those, she was already cast before me. Then they cast someone else who was meant to do my part as well.
Do we know what the name of that other person was?
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And then for various reasons that didn't happen, and then suddenly it sort of opened again. I had been in the fold before that as well, you know.
Sure.
Didn't come from nowhere.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons they cast you, sure.
Yeah.
But just to return to a subject which is relevant to the enormous plate of beef and potatoes you have in front of you.
Yes.
One slight difference in this role is it did require you to take your clothes off.
Yeah.
That requires body confidence. Or not. Or was that something that's just apart from you? That one you actually sighed and looked at the table slightly in distress.
It does it. I mean, I hate talking about this shit. Well, I guess the first movie, because of the situation with the casting, I only found out I was doing the job 5 weeks before principal photography started.
Did you hit the gym big time?
I tried to, mate, but my fucking hell. My wife was 36 weeks pregnant, and we had to find a way of getting to Vancouver before having the baby, and then get our heads around having a Canadian baby and everything. And we're so far down the line with how we were having our baby here.
Maybe that
so
was
I was
helpful.
also trying to go to the gym as well, but to be honest, in the first film, because the character's like obsessed about keeping shape and fitness, blah blah. I definitely wasn't in good enough shape for the first one compared to what I was for the other two, and what I probably should have been.
Is it true you had to watch it with a guard so that you didn't pirate your own work?
Yeah, as if I'm going to exactly, yeah. With all the 50 Shades films, I had to sit in like a sort of screening room at Universal Pictures in London.
Now, I know you're eating.
Guard.
We're both eating, but this story comes from an interview you gave to Elle.
Elle?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, it's on Elle. It's the modesty pouch story.
Isn't that fucking disgusting? I mean, can I just explain a modesty pouch, what that is for people?
I think you should.
It's a little sack that you put all your bits in that's sort of flesh coloured, so that did the camera happen to go near there, it would just, you'd be led to believe that it's continuation of flesh, or that you just don't have a penis.
You just don't have a penis.
You just don't have one, which is very strange when you're simulating sex. Kevin, who's the name of my dresser, the guy who sort of helps you, you know, make sure everything's laid out and get in the costumer on the first 50 Shades, swore to me that it hadn't been used, but I just wasn't buying it. It looked a bit frayed around the edges. It literally said inmate number 3 on it. I was just like, my mind was just thinking, imagine the, you know, the stuff that's been inside. Yeah, you like to think they're fresh out of the packet when you're putting your bits in there.
Well, is it not unreasonable to point out that the 50 Shades of Grey films, they weren't cheap? I mean, these are quite big budget movies.
Yes, I know.
Could they not have stretched to your own modesty pouch?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yes, but they must have spent the money elsewhere. Like craft service.
So when it came to playing a very wealthy S&M, where did you go looking? Where did you go looking to play Christian Grey?
Honest, luckily I had the books with that, you know, which are big help. And I don't think I'll ever play a character who's less like me in his...
no, actually, forgive me, but I would hope that the character you played in The Fall is rather less like you.
I'm going to disagree.
Oh, really?
At least you had the same accent.
Well, so what, up to the sociopathic murder spree?
He was a father, and with every character you play, you do try to find relatable traits and things that are close to you to make your job a bit easier and to feel like he's closer to you, you know. So yeah, listen, of course I find that with Christian Grey as well, but like he's just, I don't know, the sort of materialistic aspect, I don't know, there's lots of things I find kind of gross about him, to be honest.
The last time when we went out for dinner on a restaurant review, we had a particular moment when you were saying, "Oh, I'm about to appear in 2 films playing journalist types."
Yes.
And one of them was My Private War, the story of Marie Colvin, foreign correspondent for the Sunday Times,
yeah. 25 years, yeah.
who died in Syria.
Yeah.
I got the impression from everything I've read that you actually found that possibly one of the hardest things you've ever had to do.
I really did. Jay, I struggled with it. It was very emotionally wrought by the end of it. We all were. It was just very cathartic, basically. You know, it was. We were using real refugees from any of the places that we were depicting. We were using real displaced people, and we had guys who were actually in Homs when Marie died, 2012. Who were, you know, there under attack by their own government and first-hand witness to the brutality that took place and is still fucking taking place in Syria. And we'd have these guys who, you know, were playing FSA officers with us, who were with us the whole time. And some days they would just like something, they'd see something, maybe they weren't quite prepared sometimes for the reality of what a film set can be, and the sort of authenticity of what we're trying to achieve, and they would just break down. And
they found it too traumatic to
just start crying. We dealt with people crying, like extras crying, and people who were sort of featured extras crying every day. There's just people crying. This was all just too much for them, and you wear that, you know, that just seeps into Rosamund Pike, who plays Marie Colvin, and who's astonishing in the film. Rightly so, got nominated for Golden Globe and whatever. And yeah, I mean, by the end, we shot it all in Jordan. And by the end, I was literally calling my wife every night in tears. I was like, I can't, this is like...
How long a shoot was it?
Not that long. I mean, we did 5 weeks in Jordan. And then there was 3 or 4 weeks in London, but I didn't have a lot of London stuff.
But the 5 weeks in Jordan, that's quite a long time to be under stress and not that far away from where the actual thing happens.
You can see Syria very easily. I mean, it's right. It blows, when you look at a map, it blows your mind that Jordan's a peaceful place.
I know.
Blows your mind where it's situated.
There's debris, I have to say. That was a serious amount of meat.
But I have to say, there was a serious amount of meat, but that was lovely, thank you. I don't want to say this while you're moving. But there was stuff on the plate that
Do you not hope it?
Didn't ask for.
Were you saying like the carrots and the peas?
Yeah, carrots and peas, which,
Like the
actually,
vegetables.
which I sort of didn't want.
You didn't want the vegetables?
Because I ordered my broccoli as my vegetable, you see.
Oh, I see.
That was going to satisfy my veg intake for the day.
You can take the boy out of Northern Ireland, but you cannot. Now, we've got the dessert menu.
Yes.
Have a look. We could both have creme brulee.
So sticky toffee pudding that will come with vanilla ice.
Oh, they've done that. I'll have sticky toffee pudding, please, with some vanilla.
And I'll have the
Yeah.
creme brulee. Actually, we do share an interest in a restaurant, as in one that we like.
Yes.
From Hollywood,
Yes.
which is Noble.
Noble.
You've been there a few times?
I've been there many times. There's a guy called Saul who's the front of house there. And Saul used to be front of house at Dean's at Queen's, right?
Dean's being one of the great restaurants of Belfast.
Michael Dean, who sort of for a long time has had the monopoly in Northern Ireland, and is a great chef. And I once went. It's my third name drop in one sitting.
I'm enjoying them.
I went with Rory McIlroy. Even if you don't know about golf, everyone knows who Rory McIlroy is.
Have you, Paddy Keelty, James Nesbitt, and Rory McIlroy all played golf together?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. That's
But
the dream team.
Yeah.
No, but Rory is from Hollywood as well,
Yeah.
and like he's the one who's on the sign when you come into Hollywood, going in, home of no mention of me, definitely, and rightly so. And Rory and I went for dinner at Dean's of Queen's one night, and got very, very stuck into the Malbec, so much so that we're absolutely wrecked. And Rory had driven his car and sort of thinking, I'll deal with that later, and obviously we couldn't drive home, so my last memory of the night was being driven home in Rory's fucking Range Rover by Saul, who's front of house. Like we were so hammered that he'd like
Front of house drove you both
he
home.
drove us home in Rory's car, and then dropped me off. I was staying in the mate's house, and then drove Rory home, and then I guess got a taxi back.
That is very
But
funny.
Saul then opened Noble, and it's been a roaring success, and the food's unbelievable. Oh, lovely, thank you.
You know how they gave you some vegetables you didn't order? Look what's about to happen.
Just compliment the
Of course, that's all it is.
Butter with a nice little tokai.
Thank you. A nice dessert rosé.
No, Tokaj. It's Hungarian botrytis
Jesus.
dessert wine. Yeah, Jesus has nothing to do
You
with
said
it.
about 3 words I've never heard there before in my life. It's quite exciting.
All right, and we have Sauterne, of course.
And I've got the Sauterne.
Okay.
So yours is it's a Hungarian. Tokaj is a Hungarian noble rot. It's this rot that you get on the grapes, which is actually quite prized. It's called botrytis,
Right.
Because it ups the sugar levels, and
okay.
it'll be like it's Christmas in a glass, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
It smells divine. Love it.
When you leave here, you're going back to Gloucestershire today.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
Back to the kids.
Back to the kids, yeah.
It clearly
And the
is.
dog.
And the dog. How many dogs have you got?
Just one.
What is it?
Leonard, a black lab.
Right. It's actually, isn't it? It's the law, isn't it, in the Cotswolds to have one of those?
There's a
An
lot.
Arga, a Labrador. What's your car?
Oh, I don't.
It's a Range Rover, isn't it?
God.
Yeah, it's a Range Rover. You've got a Labrador, an Arga, and a Range Rover.
Listen, that's that's where we live. That's the vibes. I'm just sticking to the vibe.
Is there a council tax supplement you have to pay so you can have all of those things for living near Stroud?
Isn't it disgusting where you realise that that's just what you've become when you've fallen into every sort of cliched pothole?
Well, Jamie Dornan, thank you for coming up to town from your young family,
Thank you for having me.
and thank you for letting me take you out to lunch.
Thank you for lunch. It was delicious.
Well, that was brilliant stuff. And if you like that, do find more episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Please don't forget to rate and review. As a critic, I love being reviewed. And do subscribe, and that way you will never miss another episode. Out to Lunch was a Something Else and Jay Rayner production. It was brought to you by these lovely people: Josh Gibbs, Hester Kant, Selena Ream, Robert Abel, Darby Doris, and Steve Ackerman. Next time, Jason Isaacs. Well, that's
Very
going
easy
on.
to snog Daniel Craig, I have to say.
Is he?
Yeah.
If ever the occasion
Very
should come my
comfortable.
way.